Hi, I'm Lucy from Sew Essential and we're here today to take a closer look at the Brother Airflow 3000 overlocker. Just one of a wide range of overlocker and cover stitch machines available to buy on our site sewessential.co.uk. At Sew Essential we pride ourselves on using our expert knowledge to help you find the perfect machine for you, and that's why we've made this video, but we're also always here to support you by phone or email too. The Brother Airflow 3000 is the only Brother overlocker in the range to include air threading loopers, and that means you can thread the loopers at the touch of a button. It really is that easy, and I'll show you exactly how it works in the video. It also has easy access levers to lower and raise the stitch finger if you want to do things like sew a rolled hem, an easy to access lever to engage or disengage the blade, whether you want to cut the fabric as you sew or not. And it has a red LED warning light that will let you know if you haven't quite got something set up properly. Perhaps you've left the presser foot up or the front covers open, and it will alert you to that by lighting up red so that you know there's something you need to do before you start sewing. Other features include the ability to sew a 2, 3 or 4 thread overlocking stitch, the advanced Brother needle threader, which in my opinion is one of the best on the market. It is just so reliable and easy to use, and that in conjunction with the air threading loopers makes setting this machine up a breeze and gives you so much more time for sewing rather than threading your machine. It also has differential feed, which enables you to gather the fabric as you sew or stretch it as you sew, or you can leave it on the standard setting. And it also includes the trim trap and 3 free feet, so you get a gathering foot, a blind hem foot and a piping foot. I'll pop a link in the corner of the screen so you can take a closer look on our website and purchase it there. Later in the video we'll have a look at what's in the box, but now let's get started by having a closer look at what this wonderful machine can do for you. To start threading the machine, we pass the threads through the telescopic thread guide, which you'll notice is a metal one on the Brother Airflow 3000. Normally you would extend this to its fullest height, which is out of shot, and then you would pass the threads through it, but I'll just leave it at this lower level so that you can see what I'm doing. And you're going to take the threads, the slots are numbered 1 and 2, and then in the reverse 1 and 2 on the other side. You just take your thread and take it from back to front through slot number 1, underneath and through the slot there, and then from back to front through slot 2. And then on the top of the machine, you click the thread under the thread guide, and you'll feel that that holds the thread in place nice and securely. Now we're going to continue threading the lower looper. So the first thing I'm going to do is just raise the presser foot like so, and then I'll open the front cover and slide this cover across. And here we have a dial, which I'm just going to push down to the bottom, and then I'm going to turn the hand wheel towards me, and as I turn the hand wheel towards me, the pipes will engage here, which will connect the lower looper to the threading port here. So if you just watch that as I turn it, there we go, it's now clicked into position. And then I'm just going to bring the thread down through number 4, around the thread guide here on the front of the machine, and this is where the real magic comes in. This is even easier than threading the other Brother overlockers, because all I need to do is pop some thread in the threading port, and you'll get used to how much thread you need to put in. And then if I press this button here, the thread will fly out of the lower looper and the lower looper will be threaded. And you can see there, that is the lower looper threaded. That is how easy it is to thread this machine. And now I'm going to repeat the process with the upper looper. So I'm bringing the thread down the front of the machine through thread guide number 4. And then I'm just going to insert some thread into the port labelled U this time for upper looper. And just put an extra bit of thread down there and then press the button. And you can see the upper looper is threaded. And when I've threaded the loopers and the needles, I'm just passing the thread to the back of the machine and under the foot. Now we're going to thread the needle, so we're going to bring the thread down the thread path on the front of the machine, again labelled number 4. I've still got the presser foot up at this point, and then I'm just going to follow the numbered guides again, up and over, and then I'm threading the left needle, so I'm going to go to the left side of this metal guide here, and then I'm going to bring the thread behind the thread guide on the front of the needle bar. And then this is where the Brother Airflow 3000 really comes into its own again. It's got the wonderful Brother needle threader on it, which I just think is so reliable and so well made. So to use that, I just select which needle I'm threading. So I'm going to select L for left. I'm going to lower the presser foot, and then I'm going to bring the thread up through the metal guide and over the top there. And then I'll just use the thread cutter to cut any excess off, and then gently lower the lever, and it will swing round and thread that needle for me, just making the whole threading of this machine just so effortless and easy. And then you can just pull that thread through the back of the needle there and take that to the back of the machine. Now I'm going to repeat the process to thread the right needle. So I'm just going to lift the foot again and then bring the thread down through number 4, underneath the guides on the front of the machine, up and over, and then to the right hand side of this metal bar, behind the needle threader again, and then we're going to lower the presser foot, select the right needle this time, and then follow the same process with the needle threader up through that metal notch there, across the top, and snip off the excess. And then I can just lower the needle threader and release it, and the right needle is now threaded as well, and you can just see threading this machine is so easy. And what that means is essentially you've got more time to sew, you're spending less time threading the machine, and you've got more time to enjoy your sewing. So now we're set up and ready to sew a 4-thread overlocking stitch, so I'm just going to go ahead and sew that now. And you can see there we've got a beautifully neat balanced overlocking stitch. We've got the red threads on the top, which are the upper looper threads, and then we've got the blue on the bottom, which is the lower looper threads, and it's just a lovely neat balanced stitch that didn't take us long at all to set the machine up for, giving us plenty of time to spend sewing. Now I'm going to show you the narrow 3-thread overlocking stitch. So to do this, I've removed the left needle, I'm just using the right needle and then both of the loopers. I've also adjusted the thread tensions slightly, and all of the information on your stitch width, stitch length, tensions, it's all in the manual for you to refer to. But there you can see we've got a lovely neat stitch. We've got the red upper looper threads on the top again, and then the blue lower looper threads on the bottom, and then we've just got a single line of needle stitches this time because we're just using the one needle. You can do a wider 3-thread overlocking stitch as well, and for that you just use the left needle and you remove the right needle, but all of the instructions are in the manual. And you can just see this is a lovely delicate stitch. I like to use this to finish the seams on garments where I'm perhaps using a lighter weight fabric like cotton lawn or a lightweight linen. I just like to have a more delicate stitch for that. And then I tend to use the 4-thread overlocking stitch, sometimes to finish seams, but also to do my construction seams when I'm actually putting a garment together, because that's a stronger stitch. But you can see the two of them compared there, and both of them are just beautiful and neat. When you're working with the right needle only, you also have the option to sew what's known as a rolled hem. And this is a lovely decorative way to finish the edge of fabrics, typically used on lighter weight fabrics like satins and chiffons. You'll often see it used to finish the edge of a chiffon scarf, for example. And it's nice to use on ruffles and things where you think that a narrow hem might be too heavy. Again, all of the settings are in the manual, but one of the steps you need to take is to lower the stitch finger. So on the side of the machine, just underneath the stitch width dial, I'll show you on a walk round of the machine later, but there's a lever that you just drop down, and that inside the machine drops the stitch finger so that it's lowered. On the lower level Brother overlockers, you actually manually take the stitch finger out and then put it back in. It's a metal piece that you remove from inside of the machine. But on the Brother Airflow, there's just a sliding lever here that makes it really easy to disengage or re-engage the stitch finger. But let's go ahead now and have a look at this lovely decorative stitch. And you can see there a lovely decorative delicate finish to the edge of that fabric. It's really pretty, just finishes the edge really nicely. You can see the other side there. And then you also can even use the tails of the thread as little belt loops perhaps on your makes, or as little straps to keep your bra straps in place on a top. But it's a great way to just finish the edges of your fabric for a pretty decorative finish. On the Brother Airflow 3000 overlocker, you also have the option to sew a 2-thread overlocking stitch, which you don't have on all overlockers. In order to do this, you have to set the machine up by setting the 2-thread switching plate. And to do this, you turn the hand wheel so that it's in the correct position for threading, and then you move this across and it clicks into the upper looper. And this is part of the machine, whereas on the lower model in the range, the Brother 4234, you have to attach a separate piece here and then click it into the upper looper. And then to remove it, you simply push it and bring it back like so. And once you've got it into position, you then thread your lower looper and your left needle and follow the settings in the manual. I'm going to go ahead and sew the 2-thread overlocking stitch now, and I'm sewing this with the left needle, but you can also do this with the right needle, and then you just thread the lower looper and set the 2-thread switching plate that I showed you earlier. So let's go ahead and sew that stitch. So you can see there another great stitch. Lovely and balanced and even, and just a nice delicate alternative again with only 2 threads on this stitch. When you purchase the Brother Airflow 3000 from us, you'll also find 3 free feet in the box. So you'll find a gathering foot, a blind hem stitch foot and a piping foot included. I'm just going to show you the gathering foot in action now. You can see there we've got a beautifully gathered piece of fabric attached to a non-gathered piece of fabric, and it just makes it so easy to do. This is the piping foot, which is also included in the box when you purchase the machine from us. So you can see I've got a lovely neat overlocking stitch there, and then if we open it up, we've got neat even piping sewn beautifully between 2 pieces of fabric. This is the blind stitch foot, which can be used to sew a blind hem, flat lock stitching and pin tuck stitching. So I'm just going to show you a blind hem now. You can see there we've got neat overlocking stitches finishing the edges of the fabric, and then if we turn it over you can see we've got some little pinprick stitches on the right side of the fabric, which you'll always get with the blind hem. You'll always get a tiny little pinprick stitch. But obviously if you were using a matching thread colour you wouldn't see that, it would be barely visible, so that's what you would normally do, but just for the purposes of the video I'm using a contrasting thread. But it's just a lovely way to do a blind hem on your overlocker. I just want to give you a quick walk round of the Brother Airflow 3000 now, so you know where all the different controls are. But before we start that, I just want to mention the trim trap, which attaches to the front of the machine and catches the excess fabric that falls off as you sew. And this is really handy because it just keeps your work area nice and clean and tidy. Otherwise it would end up on the table and you'd have to clean that up. So it's really useful having one of these included with the machine when you buy it from us. On the side here we have the presser foot lift that raises and lowers the presser foot. We've got the stitch length dial, which is numbered, and again all the instructions for which numbers to set for different stitches are in the manual. There's the hand wheel, which has got a line which lines up with a marking on the hand wheel to the side of the machine when you're threading your machine, and again all of those instructions are in the manual. And then here we have the differential feed, which is normally set at 1, but if you want to gather your fabric you can turn it right up, and equally if you want to stretch your fabric as you sew you can turn it right down, and you might want to do that to do something like create a lettuce edge hem, for example. On the top here we have the tension dials for the left and right needles, the upper looper and the lower looper. We also have the option to adjust the presser foot pressure. So if you're sewing with very thick or very lightweight fabrics, you might want to adjust that. This is to select which needle we're threading. And there's also a handy light here, which will come on if we're doing something that we shouldn't be doing when we're sewing. So if the presser foot's up, for example, the red light comes on to show me I don't want to start sewing yet, the machine isn't ready to start sewing. Or if the front cover's open, the red light will be on. So if I just lower the presser foot, that goes. And that is quite handy because I've done it before where I've sewn with my overlocker with the foot up and wondered why the stitches look so terrible, and it's because the foot was up and I didn't realise. So it is a really handy feature having that. This is the stitch width dial, and again it's numbered and all the instructions are in the manual for the various different stitches. And then here we have the lever that I talked about earlier in the video when I did the rolled hem. This lowers or raises the stitch finger, and the reason that we lower it when we do a rolled hem is because that's what helps the machine to create that lovely rolled edge. And on the lower end models you have to remove a piece of metal, you have to remove the stitch finger from the machine and put it back in, whereas on the Airflow 3000 it's just a lot more accessible and easier and quicker to do. And then if we want to disengage the blade, so we don't want to cut our fabric while we sew, we can move this dial across like so and the blade will be disengaged. And then if we want to re-engage it again, we just move it back to the left. And again, on the lower end models you have to open the front cover and there's a lever that you pull out and turn inside the machine to disengage the blade. On the Airflow 3000 you've just got a lever on the front of the machine that's really accessible and quick and easy to do. So if you're impressed with all the brilliant features on this wonderful machine, click the link in the corner of the screen and you can take a closer look and purchase it there. In the box you'll find everything you would expect: a detailed instruction manual, the foot control, spare thread nets, spare needles, screwdrivers, tweezers, the 3 free feet and the trim trap. Then if you'd like to take your sewing even further, there are accessories available to buy separately for this machine on our website too. Just click the link in the corner of the screen and look for the Brother accessories, and if you need any help choosing, don't hesitate to ask because that is what we're here for. I've given you a really good overview of the Brother Airflow 3000, but if I've left any of your questions unanswered, don't hesitate to get in contact. We're always happy to help. All of our machines are covered by a full manufacturer's warranty, so that's 3 years with the Brother Airflow 3000. In the unlikely event that you have a problem, just get in touch. Most of the time we're able to resolve any issues over the phone, but if that's not the case, we'll collect the machine and do everything for you. We offer the best prices, but if you happen to see this machine cheaper anywhere else, don't hesitate to get in contact and we'll be very happy to help. All of our machines are delivered by courier the next working day, free of charge, with a dedicated time slot, so you'll know exactly when to expect your happy post. I hope you're feeling super excited about your new machine. Thanks for watching.